Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today we're going to be talking about the color black, the pigment black. And I thought initially I would have time to maybe include some grays in this topic, but I don't, so I'll have to get to those to a later date. I apologize, I think there's just too much to cover, and I sort of fell down a weird hole, and you'll you'll see as we keep going. There is a black I want to note. When I get there, it involves animal bones. If that is difficult for you, if you are vegan or vegetarian, I will timestamp if you want to skip that one. Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is carbon black. And carbon black has been in use since prehistoric times, and I'm going to try and include more of the pigment codes. So carbon black is PBK7, and PBK just means black. That's the pigment code for that color, and it's the number 7. So you can look in your pigments and see if you have PBK7, then you have carbon black. Now, this is actually a group of pigments that includes lamp black, soot black, and vine black. And when fuel is burned, the resulting carbon is collected, and that's the carbon black. So, let's make sure I get all this on screen here. When you look at like tire manufacturers, 70% of the carbon that's used a year is used by them. And they use it for keeping their tires black. They use it for wear resistance. And only 10% is actually used for pigments and inks, which I think is really fascinating. But it has such a small particle size in carbon black that a lot of oil is needed to make this into a paint. And as a result of this, if you take centuries old paintings and you add solvent to them, the paint is still sensitive. Like, it still reacts, which I think is just fascinating. Vine black specifically is made from charring grapevines and stems. Lamp black, which is actually PBK6, is made from collecting soot from oil lamps. And artists like Rembrandt and Vermeer, Van Dyck, Cezanne, Picasso, Manet, they all used carbon black. This was a very popular color, and because it was available for so long, everybody had access to it. We'll get to where we're going in a second with some of this. Some of you may already know the controversy and drama in the art community with the color black or black pigments. This second one I'm going to talk about is the one where if you are sensitive to animal usage in pigments, then this one is not for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. For those of you staying, this pigment is called ivory black or bone black. Now, it was initially called ivory black because the tusks of elephants were used to make this black. And since that's too expensive and they're endangered and that's frowned upon, it is just made out of bones now. This is PBK9, and it is still made. And it's made from charring animal bones, mostly cows and pigs. And because of mad cow disease, they no longer use the skull or the spleen when making bone black. So, why do folks still use this? It's a deep color. It has really good tinting strength. And it's been used since prehistoric times as well. This has been around for a long time, charring animal bones and using it as a pigment. Originally they would take the ivory and they would grind it into oil. And old masters like Rembrandt, Manet, Picasso, they all use this. It's actually really easy for folks to identify this in a painting now because of the calcium and the phosphorus from the bones. They just use an X-ray fluorescence spectrum and it picks this up and they can see, yes, this artist did in fact use ivory black or bone black in their painting. We can see that. And then it's identified. And I will link in the description box, I will link paintings that show some of these blacks that I think are incredibly fascinating. There's modern painters that use 2 to 3 different types of blacks for some of their art, and that's amazing as well. The next one I want to talk about, which is the one I'm currently using, it's called Mars Black, and this is PBK 11. So Mars Black is made from a black iron oxide. Well, sometimes it's called black iron oxide or magnetic oxide, but this pigment was actually developed in the 20th century. So this one is fairly newer, and it's synthetically prepared black iron oxide. So it's the first one that doesn't use any carbon, where the carbon from the bones were used and the carbons from other things were used. This one is iron. Now, it has no health hazards that people know about. It's considered non-toxic, very light fast, and why it's named Mars is it's named after Mars, the god of war and patron of iron. I don't know if you can see this, but I am currently using Daniel Smith's Lunar Black. You look up the pigment code and it is PBK 11. So this is Mars Black, even though they call it Lunar Black. It is very, very granulating. So the more water I use, the more it starts to break apart and get interesting. I think it's a very beautiful black. For folks that don't like heavy granulating watercolors, this one probably isn't for you. The last one I want to talk about, and this is where I fell down a huge rabbit hole and I knew some of this, I just didn't know how bad it had gotten. So we are going to now talk about Vantablack. Now, Vantablack is actually an acronym, and it means vertically aligned nanotube array black. What am I talking about? So, in 2014, a British company called Surrey Nanosystems created, it's sort of a actual pigment coating, and it absorbs 99.965% of light. So this is considered the blackest black out of all black pigments. And originally this was created for the military. I know they use it for aerospace and some sort of, I don't know, detectors and different things that have already been shipped out. But an artist started experimenting with this, a British artist by the name of Anish Kapoor. He started experimenting in 2014 using this really, really dark black. And at one point it was considered illegal to use and have this for the public because it's so flat, matte, and so dark that it doesn't look, it tricks your eye. So it can be very deceptive and it could be dangerous having it in public spaces. So an artist started experimenting in 2014. He realized, wow, this is really cool. Wow, I'm the only one that's using this right now. I would like to continue that. And in 2016, this sculptor installation artist, he bought the exclusive rights to this color. What did that mean? That means he was the only one allowed to use Vantablack. Other than military application, he was the only artist, and he created sort of like black holes on the ground and sort of black holes on walls, and I'll link some of his installation art so you can see how dark black this black is. And the art community got angry. like rightfully so. Like how dare this guy keep this product, not share it with other artists. You know, he's able to do a thing nobody else is allowed to do because he's the only one with the rights. You know, it's not fair. So this started this little internet, I don't know what to call this. Drama? Is there drama in the art world? A gentleman, also British, by the name of Stuart Semple, in kind, responded, "Fine, I will make my own color, exclusive to everyone, excuse me, but Anish Kapoor." And he made the pinkest pink, and anybody could buy it, except for Anish. And as a result, it became insanely popular. All the artists loved it. They thought it was hilarious and begged him to make his own version of the black. So he now makes his own really dark, opaque black. It's called like Black 2.0. And you can purchase that. I'll link his webpage if you want to see some of his products. He also has the most glitteriest glitter. He has the pinkest pink, the glitteriest glitter, and then black like 2.0. For artists who want to experiment. And I think some creators on YouTube have purchased his products. He also has like a mirror type paint, which is very reflective. He's created a bunch of things and then made it open to the public in response to this one gentleman keeping the rights to this. Now in 2019, a material at MIT was developed that's even darker. So here we are, all caught up with black. I hope this was interesting. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.